Tonight, in an address from the Oval Office, President Biden made his pitch to send $100 billion American tax dollars to two allies now fighting wars on the other side of the world. As NBC's Chris Pallone reports, the White House will put in a formal request to Congress just hours from now.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
In a rare nationally televised address from the Oval Office, President Biden made the case that it's in Americans' best interest to continue supporting Israel and Ukraine in their respective wars.
History has taught us that when terrorists don't pay a price for their terror, when dictators don't pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos and death and more destruction.
The White House is expected to ask Congress for about $100 billion in aid, $60 billion to Ukraine, $40 billion for Israel, Taiwan, and to help with the migrant crisis at the southern border. The president spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky shortly before the speech to emphasize the U.S.'s commitment to helping Kyiv fend off the Russian invasion.
If we walk away and let Putin erase Ukraine's independence, would-be aggressors around the world would be emboldened to try the same. The risk of conflict and chaos could spread in other parts of the world.
The White House funding request will be sent to Congress tomorrow. The Democratic-controlled Senate is expected to act quickly to pass the supplemental, a move which could put pressure on House Republicans to sort out their leadership issues and end the legislative logjam in that chamber. But even some of the president's allies fear Americans are growing weary of sending tax dollars overseas.
I know sometimes we all got short attention spans, but this is a very real conflict as well about good versus evil in Ukraine, and we need to stand with our European allies and with Ukrainians.
The U.S. has sent more than $40 billion in security aid to Ukraine since Russia invaded in 2022. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
And in his speech, the president urged citizens to reject hate, to see each other as fellow Americans, not Jews or Muslims. After his address, he spoke to the family of a 6-year-old American-Palestinian boy in Illinois who was stabbed 26 times allegedly by his landlord. His murder is being investigated as a hate crime. Mr. Biden gave his condolences to the family and said he prayed for the recovery of the boy's mother, who was gravely injured in the attack. Tonight, some of our lawmakers in Washington are responding to the president's speech. In a statement, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for reminding America that we have a singular role in the world, fighting against terrorists like Hamas and tyrants like the infamous war criminal Vladimir Putin." Congresswoman Mary Miller from Illinois' 13th District released a statement saying, "Joe Biden wants to defend every border except our own." It goes on to say his plan is to fund both sides of the war in Israel.